Hello everyone and welcome back to Ash of God's Redemption, and let's just continue where we left off. Maybe I should talk to my... Oh, or not? Well, I can level up. I was hoping to talk to my fellow traveler. Okay, well, I guess we'll continue traveling then. The Jaranan Tower. The roll lulls you into a daydream, but then a stabbing pain in your blackened arm, followed by a burst of pain in the back of your head, all but knock you out of the saddle. Scanning the road ahead, you notice a band of enses. You remember them. These are special enses, the Reaper's Hounds. They present a challenge even for you. I don't think we can. Leave the road? Yeah. You all but push Ake into the roadside shrubs. These are not your regular warriors, you whisper. They're the Reaper's Hounds, dangerous and deadly. When you can no longer hear the Ance's footfalls, Ake spits in frustration. What has Terminum come to? Are the regular roads not safe anymore? When will this nightmare end? You nudged your horse forward. It will end eventually. Pray that it's not also the end of Terminum. Oh. Do you want to go the Berkanan Road or the old Jabonan Road? What does it say? A well-trodden highway marked with posts and road signs frequently patrolled by the Jaranan Guard. Probably not anymore. Already broken and unkempt, but still a decent road traversing the desolate lands near the spurs of the Milky Mountains. Yeah, let's go that way. The road less traveled. I think that's where he went as well. Or we went with him. Ake raises his hand and you stop. The giant responds to your inquisitive stare with a grin. There's a ruined tavern nearby. Which means my hiding place isn't that far off either. Left some stuff there a couple of years ago. Hopefully it's not what we found. Had to drop off some loot so I could travel faster. Who knows what you might need in times like these. Wait here, scribe. You shrug as Ake disappears into the forest. Everyone has a past, and the giant is not something you want to bother with. Why would he call a ruined tavern the ruins, though? Maybe that's what that eerie hag's clue is all about? Your thoughts are interrupted by Ake. The giant seems flustered. Can you believe it? There are actual bandits in the forest, drinking booze with a captive tied to a tree. There aren't many people, but the meadow is like a herd of pigs mucked it up. Well, I guess they are pigs. They were so hammered they didn't even notice me. And I'm hardly inconspicuous. I decided against getting into a fight without your orders. It's a good reason to start thinking. It'd be great to investigate in the ruins, but what about the bandits? Should you ask Ake to kill them all, or should you avoid the risk and wait until they're gone? You can also wait and strangle the drowsy bandits at night, one by one, like kittens. All this trouble will only pay off, though, if there's actually something in the ruins. If you can really call a ruined tavern like that. I mean, I've already missed 2 chances, so I don't really want to go for that. Let's go for that. Attack the bandits at night. If nothing else, we might be able to kill off some of them. Ake doesn't mind your plan, but suggests some alterations, namely, the attack should be at dawn, as hungover bandits take longer to rouse. You concede, agreeing to wait. The next morning, Ake ventures into the forest, returning soon afterwards to report the bandits' deaths. Ake heads out to look for his hiding place, while you head for the ruined tavern. On your way there, you free an abandoned prisoner. He thanks you and introduces himself as Oscar. Noticing your interest in the ruins, he tells you he saw something strange there last night. You ask Oscar for details. After his kidnappers drank themselves to sleep, the tavern was engulfed in a scarlet fog. Oscar swears that it formed a phrase. You will find one on the tomb. You thank Oscar, but decide to explore the ruins on your own. You find nothing suspicious, nor any traces of magic. Back in the meadow, you discover that Oscar has already vanished. Ake tells you that his hiding place has been rummaged. Sorry. Shrugging, you continue on your way. That's the way I went with them. A burnt clearing that crosses the wood, convenient for travelers undaunted by wild animals or thugs. Yeah, and this one... Yeah, let's go the same way. Sure. Give in to the curse. Don't like it. The blackness on your hand creeps upward. Yeah. Don't like it. You stop in a tiny village to buy fresh bread from a roadside bakery. An ancient man with a crooked cane hobbles closer. His droopy eyes rest on you for a moment, and then he kneels before you. He tells you that he recognizes you, saying that you were once his teacher and that you traveled the roads of Burkana together some 80 years ago. You grab him by the shoulders and yank him to his feet, then quickly send him away with a handful of coins. Ake mounts his horse, rips a chunk from the hot loaf, and washes the simple meal down with a jug of fresh milk. What was that about, Hopper? Tell me. If you're trying to pull wool over my eyes, make sure it's nice and warm. You didn't expect to see a former student. What do you tell Ake? Do you lie to him or joke your way out of it? If you have enough strength left, you could also cast an obliviating spell instead. Let's try to laugh it off. I definitely don't want to do that, because it will probably just worsen that. And I don't really feel like doing that, so let's try and laugh it off. You nod at the ancient man hobbling away. Oh, that was nothing, you tell Ake. Happens all the time. I mean, really. One time in Jebo, a place I hadn't been in 15 years, I got harassed by this plump Jabonan lady. Where have you been, you son of a bitch? She said. Answer me, you bastard. Our son is 3 years old now. Ake immediately lights up. That happened to me 4 times, and every time it was a woman I'd never met. How'd you get out of that one? You chuckle. I didn't. The guards took all my money, gave 1/3 of it to the woman, and kept the rest for themselves. So I'll never set foot in Jabona ever again. Well, that worked out. Oh, we want to go... Do we want to go to the Hunter's Village? I mean, he didn't. What does it say? A forest path that dives into gullies and runs along the craggy riverbank. It hastens travel because none dare rest in a maelstrom of mosquitoes. Right. A track used by beast hunters and trappers alike, overgrown with underbrush in some parts, and right. He did go this way. So let's do that with these guys as well. Oh, hello. A man approaches you in a roadside tavern. He introduces himself as James. Are you the one asking about Thorn Brennan? He asks. I know the captain, and I have some information about him. Might be worth some money to you, since you're looking for him. Looking into James's cunning eyes, you wonder if you can trust him. He looks like a crook. Let's try that. Use magic to make absolutely sure. Boy. You use a simple truth spell on James to make him spill the beans. It turns out that he holds a grudge against Thorn for kicking him out of the Albius Regiment for thievery. James overheard that you were looking for Brennan and saw this as an opportunity to slander his former captain and make a little profit. You angrily ask Ake to throw the bastard James out of the tavern head first. Well, at least Thorn is just. He isn't cruel either. He didn't beat up the thief or send him to prison. He just kicked his ass and banished him. Has the peaceful life made him a pushover? Alright. Let's go to the arch. You approach the stockade enclosing a menhir called the Arch. Seems like Thorn's been here. Ansis paid the place a visit too. You see blood and sword shards by the gate. One of the masks lies in the dirt. The gate is opened by a stocky, gloomy soldier. He scans your group with suspicion, finally resting his gaze on Ake. The giant warrior dismounts, handing the guard the papers. You do likewise and approach the guard. Good day to you, travelers. Vegan, head watchman of this harbor. This stockade. At your service, I'll gladly see your papers. Do you have them on you? Hand them over here, please. Let's see who you are. Oh, that's no help. This probably ain't the first time you've seen Prince Treeg's seal. Are you gonna pretend you don't know who I am? I've got several questions for you, Vegan. Answer me and it'll be like I was never here. For starters, tell me, do you know Captain Thorn Brennan? Hey. True, I must abide by this seal of yours, but that's no excuse for threats. And I've seen much greater ones, as has my old comrade Thorn. He passed through here with a party, helped us fend off the Ensis, he did. Did Thorn have a blonde, green-eyed lad with him? Hey, I saw someone like that. Looked a lot like Prince Ho. Mind you, I've not seen him in a long while, but the two lads have a lot in common, I swear. What is Thorn's party like? Are they all warriors? Who knows? Not like my sore ass rode alongside him. They fight well, the rest remains to be seen. One of his men turned out to be rotten, caused me a lot of trouble, but Thorn, he protects his people. Coughed up a hefty sum for the fool's misdeeds, so everything's been settled. Did Thorn lose any men fighting the Ensis? You could say so. One of his veterans was messed up. We buried this Krieger on the hill outside the stockade, not in the local cemetery. The villagers are pious. They don't need something like that near their homes. What do you mean by messed up? You're not making any damn sense. What was wrong with Krieger? Will you tell me or not? If I knew magic like the back of my hand, I would. As it stands, I don't know shit. If you're so damn curious, have a look for yourself. Maybe the gods cursed him, or some sorcerer corrupted him. Do you know where Thorn was headed? He asked the way to Ursus, so I gather that's where he's headed. From here, it's either to go to Ursus or go home. If memory serves, he wanted to visit the menhir there. Whom did he ask? Did he talk to anyone else in the stockade? I'm the only one he knows here. He only spoke to his companions. Maybe some merchants too. No, wait, there was someone else. A seer. She calls herself Sheila. That's her tent over by the menhir. She herself has vanished. Interesting. It'll be worthwhile to check the tent. It's not every day you hear stories of vanishing seers. I have no further questions. Alright, we're back here. Let's check the tent first. Vegan was talking about a certain seer. That could be important. This is where the old seer rested. She foretold every Ents attack, for which I'm grateful. Without her, we might have failed. She spoke to Thorn and then disappeared while we were fighting the Ensis. She left some of her possessions behind. Her tent is still here. Were her hands black by any chance? No, I saw no signs of such an illness. She was wearing a dress with long sleeves cuffed at the wrist and had stone bracelets on each arm, but her hands looked clean. She made predictions, you say? What did it look like? How did she prophesy? Did she rant or chant? There's a difference? No, she didn't do any of that. It seemed more like she was raving, only she guessed right every single time. Stood over here, she did, squinted at the sun, then turned and spoke. Be ready, Vegan, she said. 12.5 enses are skirting the edge of the forest, and every time things happened exactly as she said they would. Did she do any sorcery? Mix potions, perhaps? No, she brought a salve to help with the neck aches, but she claimed it came from the Ursus temple. It's already running out. What struck me was that she kept chuckling under her breath, had a fearsome look in her eyes too. She also touched the men here, but warned us not to. And that warning wasn't groundless, I tell you. What did she say to Thorn? Can you recall anything? Should I have listened in on their conversation? That's beneath me. But it seems Sheila had been waiting just for him, or his daughter. She spoke with her, too. Quick as a whip, Thorn's daughter. Listen, I also recall them mentioning Unda, the healer lady from Ursus. You don't seem to enjoy talking about Sheila. She's no old crone hopper. Half the village is old women. I know all about them. Sheila doesn't walk, talk, or even smell like one. The way she moves, it'll be the envy of any young lass. That is why I do not think she's human. Well, Vegan, what if I'm not human either? My back doesn't ache and I don't reek of old age. Hey! I used to stand at the gate with the tollman. I could see through any rigged cart, you know. But Sheila? It was like looking through fogged glass. Couldn't see a thing. She read my thoughts through the whole conversation, simple as they may be. And then she vanished. Here one moment, gone the next. The gate was closed the whole time. I need to go. If you see Sheila, tell her that Blance is looking for her. Hold a moment, friend. There is something else I need to tell you, but I can't quite remember what it is. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Is it about the double men here? Wait, have you ever heard the expression, one on the two? The two is a nickname we gave our men here. When people say, I'll meet you at the two, they mean the 2 men here stones. Funny in a way, given how you can walk the whole stockade from end to end in 5 minutes. What could one on the two refer to? A sign? A ribbon? A mark? Hang on. Sheila always loved to perplex. As soon as you said Blance, I remembered. She didn't just touch the men here, she etched something into its surface. She told me to mention it to Blance whenever he stopped by. Will you go and have a look? It could be some kind of curse, mind you. Best be careful. Too late to steer clear of curses. I need to think it over. Interesting. The strange seer has left a message for you on the men here. Vegan hobbles to the men here with you. I asked her, what's the use in writing something nobody can see? And she said, Unda knows what she's doing, even when she's scribbling on dungeon walls. Whoever it's meant for will read it. Even if they don't, these inscriptions vanish in a couple of days. Could it be that Unda is the healer lady from Ursus? You brush Vegan off, make a mental note of Unda's dungeon wall scribblings, and examine the sacred stone. There's an inscription indeed, but it's hazy, same as the one in the Albius bell tower you recall so vividly. This inscription isn't easy to read. You'll have to undo someone else's magic. What will you get out of it? The beginning of the spell that'll save you, or another blackened hand? Read the inscription. You unweave the spell obscuring the inscription. Before they fade, the runes on the stone shine brightly and clearly, etching themselves into your memory. Take into yourself that which you can take, for there is no one else to take it. You mean like the curse? Okay. Vegan mentioned Thorn's fallen comrade, also a captain of the guard. Something odd happened to him. You decide to examine Krieger's grave and ask Vegan to accompany you. He'd probably rather join a battle or some other risky undertaking, but he can't decline your request. Reluctantly, he leads you up a hill. You find yourself in front of a recent burial site, topped with a large boulder. The head watchman spits. "This is where the boys and I buried him, a good distance from the village. Should have burned him, I guess. When this all began, I thought the white-masked abominations with their strange swords were the worst horrors I'd ever see. I've since changed my mind." Ake shrugs. "Why fear corpses? Fear the living. What are all those stakes for? And a huge sodding boulder on top? Now we're gonna dig the grave up and drag the corpse out by its toe." As Krieger's corpse comes into view, your companions recoil. Even Ake grows pale. Vegan wipes cold sweat from his brow. You approach the grave and, undeterred by the unsightly remains, document the sight in your journal. The others look on with both fear and respect. Once the sketch is complete, you turn around. No one utters a word. They all look at you for guidance, but they'll need to face their own fears all the same. As a man of letters, a scribe may seem like a madman at times, but without a scribe's curiosity, there wouldn't be any chronicles. You see a beast, I see a victim of terrible sorcery. What's that mark on his chest? What could have left it? A captain's insignia. What else? Krieger was a commander of young soldiers and captain of the guard in Albius. Oh yes, he had his captain's insignia. Thorn took it, nearly burned his fingers. That's how hot it was. That's both good and bad news. Bad that the Strix can't protect you from this plague, but good that it doesn't become dangerous like the menhirs. This hideous thing will decompose within a week, leaving no trace. Why is it rotting so fast? I had to collect bodies in the summer heat once, but even they didn't decay this quickly. That's the other side of sorcery. You use magic to create a beast and imbue it with power, but that power can only be drawn from the victim's own flesh, so it leaves a gaping hole once depleted. I don't even want to think who might have done it. Fear not, he isn't dangerous. Shit, what was that? I didn't just fall off a turnip cart. I've heard tales of sorcerers and shapeshifters, but they don't exist, do they? No, they don't, and this is no shapeshifter. The fangs and talons are akin to the marks on people's necks. This reaping will be the worst one yet, I reckon. Imagine an entire pack of such beasts. You may rebury the corpse. No need for stakes. The locals believe them necessary. Now, if it's not too much trouble, please ask your strong man to roll the boulder back onto the grave. I'll manage the stakes. Think what you will, but I've no intention of scaring anyone. Alright. Ake, please help us with the stone. There's no need to trouble the locals. With a reaping afoot, let them believe what they want and fear what they'd like to. It does more good than harm. No trouble at all. Truth be told, I wouldn't mind having a stone like this atop my own grave when the time comes, just in case. Okay, I guess it's time to leave. Have to continue our journey because there's nothing else to do here. As you're about to leave the stockade, Vegan approaches you. I'm no rebel, but I'll speak my mind. You're chasing Thorn, but he's broken no laws and committed no acts worthy of reproach. That is what I believe. You smile. These days everyone has warnings for me, but every other warning is a threat. I'd best get used to it. let me bid you farewell, Vegan. I've tarried here more than I intended. Vegan, however, takes the reins of your horse, a clear signal that the conversation isn't over. With a sigh, you dismount. Hold a moment. I have to tell you something. Old age hits you hardest not in the back or knees, but in the memory. But I remember, damn it. What do you remember, Vegan? Spit it out. It's bad luck to muddy farewells with talk. Who cares about bad luck when the reaping is upon us? No matter how you spin it, it can't get any worse. I just remembered something Sheila said the moment she arrived. I'd forgotten all about it in the turmoil, but now it struck me like lightning. She may have been raving, but this is what she said. The wise will take to heart what the foolish won't hear. There are holes and holes. One bites, the other brags and moralizes. Talk to those eager to talk. Sometimes the tongue knows more than the head. What's it all supposed to mean? I don't know yet, Vegan, but I'll think about it. Good luck to you now. Don't be too quick to judge your friends, old or new. The day for that has yet to come. You leave the stockade. You managed to conceal the shock of seeing Krieger in his grave, yet you remain unsettled. You've witnessed worse during previous reapings and times of turmoil, but now you feel the prickling of genuine fear. 1,000 years ago, the last reaping bore the same fruit elsewhere. Those ousted from that land ended up in Terminum. Talons, fangs, self-inflicted genocide, all omens of a dying world. What could it mean now? Is the end of Terminum nigh? Or could it be the awakening of the same one who set your world ablaze? Could the magic of the tolling bells be protecting Berkana from that same horrible fate? You look to your blackened hand, but find no answer. Your heart, beating heavy in your chest, fills with a sense of inevitability.
Hope is like the sun. It turns red and goes out. Should we wait for a new dawn?
Okay, I guess we're back to Thorn. But that will be next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye!